Outside of police work, I mentioned that you're a competitive shooter.
Hmm.
Now, for the listener, I highly encourage you to go over and check out Tony on Instagram, and you will see why I said the things I said about this being a fun interview because this young lady is full of personality. She has a very contagious smile, and I can see why you have. I called her an influencer before we started recording here, and she said she hates that term, but she is. She's an influencer, whether she wants to admit it or not, and that's a good thing because I think there's a lot of young ladies out there that may look up to you uh, for what you do.
Oh.
Now competitive shooting. How did you get into that?
It's super funny. So everybody always asks me, like, Tony, like, when did you start shooting? Like, did you shoot when you were younger? Like when you just started walking? And I'm like, nah, dog. Like, I started shooting like 5 years ago. So
Really?
yeah. So like my dad, if you're listening to this, you failed me. You failed me. Okay. No, he's a great dad. I love him. He's my best friend. But you know what? He never took me shooting, like ever. He never took me shooting growing up. And then I was actually towards the end of my probation for my agency.
Hmm.
And, they were having like a gun expo at our firing range. So my partner at the time was like, hey, we're going. And I was like, all right, cool. So, we go over there and, they got like the table set up. You literally just like, hey, can I shoot that? You're like, yeah, Uzi, go ahead. And you're like, okay. You're just like letting down everything. It was fun. And then one of my other partners was like, hey, that's Terran Tactical over there. And I'm like, who? Because I live under a rock, okay? If you were like, hey, do you know Keanu Reeves? I would have been like, who's that? Like, I really live under a rock, okay? Don't take offense to anything, guys. Um, and long story short, that's where I met Terran. For people who don't know who Terran Tactical is, it's another company for competitive shooters. He also trains Keanu Reeves, Joe Rogan, Halle Berry, a bunch of actors for their upcoming roles or just other celebrities. And long story short, I was like, I don't know who that is. And he's like, go take a photo. And I was like, no, like that's good. That's going to be awkward. Like, I don't know who that is. So my friend forced me to like go up there and I was like, hi, sir, can I get a photo? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm in uniform. And he's like, hey, like, why don't you come to my range, and, just come out and shoot. And I was like, no, like, cause I feel like, I don't know. I never like it when people kind of like offer things to me because I don't want to be like taking
Hmm.
advantage of somebody and I feel like I'm putting people out.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, like I'm okay. Next thing I know, my friend is like giving me the death grip on my arm and he's like, take his number. And I was like, I was like, okay, sir, thank you very much. And then, I just went over to Terran's range and then he was like, hey, like you're pretty decent. Like, do you want to, be a part of this and be a competitive shooter? And I was like, ah, sure. I got nothing else going on. So that's where it started. And then,
I
yeah.
love
And
it.
then I just fell in love with shooting. And it's so funny because some people say I picked it up quick. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I'm just really bad at everything else. And somehow this clicked for me. So,
I love it. I love it. Now, let's get back to this influencer thing. How did that tie into the guns? When did you realize that you were onto something there, or did you? It just happened.
it honestly just happened because I don't know. I always rely on the whole thing that I'm like, hey guys, like I'm just a cop. Like that's all I am. Like I don't have any sort of like training or experience in like influencing work, modeling, or any of that. So it's just kind of like rolling with the punches. And I always thought of the whole like Instagram thing as something really fun. And
Hmm.
I slowly started to realize like, hey, I'm getting like more messages of people saying like, hey, my daughter who's like 8 years old is watching you and she really like looks up to you because you're a police officer and you also shoot guns. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, that's so sweet. And so I guess I started realizing from there, and then I started to like, I don't know, I got really blessed. Honestly, I truly,
Yeah.
truly, truly got blessed. Thank you, Lord, for that. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. And we've talked about it a couple of times now. I usually wait till the end here, but if you can do me a favor, can you give out your Instagram handle so followers can go or the listeners can go over and follow you and check out your profile and
yeah,
everything?
absolutely. So my Instagram handle is Toni McBride Official, ToniMcBride, and then official. And then you'll see this chick with like long black hair.
She's doing her things, guys, and I'm going to put a link to that down in the show notes So again, make sure you go over and check her out and see what she has going on. I'm going to go ahead and get into my first segment, Tony,
Okay, I'm
and
ready.
this is what I call dig deeper. Okay, this is this is what I call dig deeper. This is when I get nosy and I go poking around my guest social media, and I find certain posts and I craft questions around them.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm already like, okay, oops.
And the first post of yours I want to ask you about, this was a picture of you in a Budweiser t-shirt and a cowboy hat. And the caption, you remember that post?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And the caption was, I promise you, if you don't take yourself too seriously, you'll have more fun. And my first question to you around that post is, outside of shooting, what else do you do for fun?
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, Tony, did you watch the first episode of Yellowstone? I was gonna be like, you bet I did, Anthony. So what do I do outside of it? I was like so ready for you to say that. For some people that don't know Yellowstone, it's a great TV show and it's about cowboys. Okay, so, so like I guess outside of like shooting, I literally hit up my best friend Jasmine and I'm like, yo, we're going on an adventure today. She's like, Tony. I'm like, yep, get in the car. And I'll just be like, hey, like let's go to this place that's like 2.5 hours away or 3 hours away. And we'll just like do these like fun, like little adventures. If I'm not even doing shooting, I'm usually taking my cute, adorable little Aussie butt. And his name is Danny
Okay.
Boy. He's like 2 years old now and he's getting a little bit chunky. So we're trying to like take him more on like hikes and just getting like more out there.
Yeah.
It's funny, like as soon as I get home, I'll be home for like an hour or so, like when I was living with my parents. And they're like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna leave. And they're like, you're never home. And I'm like, I know, like I have to be doing something. I need to like be going out doing something.
Yeah, yeah. I can see that in you. I can see where you stay busy. And have you always been spontaneous like that? Just taking the trips and things like that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I hate being home all the time. Like
Okay.
I think there's so much opportunity out there. The world is so gorgeous. So you need to go out there and use your time and like get your butt out there. So I guess I've always
Yeah.
been kind of spontaneous. Plus I have my excuse me, I have my best friend's dad's number. So when she says no, I just call him and I'm like, hey, tell Jasmine she's getting in the car. And then he's like, Jasmine, go, you're going. So
Oh man, that's funny. Another question I want to ask you around that pose. What was the most recent thing that happened in your life outside of work where you had to be serious?
during that post, oh geez.
Nope, not just anything in your life. A moment in your life recently outside of work where you had to be serious.
I don't even know. Like when you said outside of work, I'm like, oh, even at work, like, I mean, I'm serious at some points. And then other times I'm just like, hey, but I don't even
Yeah.
know. I want to say like, crap, like when I'm ordering my coffee, because I don't want them to mess it up. And like, this is the start of your day. Like, this is very serious to
Yeah.
me. Oh gosh, probably when I'm yelling at Daniel, my dog, Danny. Like this boy, he like loves to just pee on everything. People too. He pees on people. Okay, that's when I'm probably serious.
Oh man, I love it. I love it. Last last question around that post. What's your favorite beer?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna laugh so hard. I don't drink beer. But I
Really?
don't. No, I don't drink beer. But I love the Budweiser is just very American, and I'm pro-American,
Okay.
and I just love my country. So I'm like Budweiser, baby. And then it's funny. I hate beer. Something I guess kind of close to beer is dirty kombucha. So dirty kombucha.
What's that?
It's like, have you heard of kombucha?
No.
It's like a probiotic. It's like a fizzy, yummy drink. But then they like put
Okay.
alcohol in it or something. I don't know. So mostly
Mm,
I do a bunch of mules.
okay.
I know. I like let people down so much right now. Like, damn, she doesn't drink beer. I'm like, no, I'm not a bro, guys. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. All good. I want to ask you about another post. This was a picture of you at the range, and you had on an all black outfit, and you were holding a rifle, which describes a lot of
I was gonna
your
say, I'm like,
pictures.
that's all of them.
But
It's consistency, baby.
But the caption was, "What a huge honor! I was nominated in the Gandhi Awards as most influential female of the year in the gun industry. I can't thank you all enough for the support. Believe me, you guys are are the absolute best." You recall that post?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So
And my first question around that post is, well, first of all, did you win?
no, so actually the voting is still going on. So if you guys can go to
Okay.
Vote Gundies or just go to my profile. I have a link there. So go ahead and vote for me. You get 15 votes a day. And the voting ends, I believe, January. It's at the end of January. I know that.
Okay.
And then they basically announced, the top 4 winners of each category. And then you can like go to Texas and shoot out of tanks and like have a good time. So I'm like, what? Like, you get to shoot out of tanks? So now I'm like, guys, rally the troops. Let's get the votes in. So.